RC family here, EKJ 24000 here, TTR Team Tip Tuesday here to go over the way just to make your car make it through your A main, B main, your mains, whatever main you made it in, for however long that your main is, and just give you some tips you can do to give you less flame outs with your engine, less possible flame outs with your engine. Things just to look at over your car that you have to do just to make it through those long main events. Um, y'all just stay tuned. Let me flip this camera around. We can go over and get to it. All right. Yeah. Okay, we back. Number one thing I want to go over is always charge your receiver packs. This also goes along with when you got that bash, you know you finna go to maybe over down to one of your friends' houses to go bash with, or you gonna go bash with a bunch of your friends, your partners or whatever. It's just good to do these things. All of this relates to just having a good, consistent running car with less problems as possible, even with the engines. Like I said, this is for when you get ready to run those long main races at the end of the day. The things you can do just to make sure your car make it through, no problems. Nothing, it's no guarantee nothing will break, depending on how you're driving. That depends on that. But these are things you can just lessen the opportunity for something to go bad or flame out or anything like that, and make it through those long mains. So like I said, number one is always keep your stuff charged. That's number one. Go into the main event, go into your bash session with everything charged up, your receiver packs, your radio, that's charged up. Even your starter box, make sure your starter box is charged. That's number one. Make sure everything's charged first. And then number two, to your engine here, just always check your bearings, your clutch bell bearings. Even coming off your last run, just take it out before you start your mains, before you go to the bash section. Just check your clutch bell bearings. If your clutch spinning free, you know your bearings are pretty good. Or if you know that you ran on your bearings, you know, through all your qualifying or practice sessions, or if you ran these same bearings on your last bash session, check them. It's time to change them. Cause look at here. This is just an example of a possible failure. Just say in a 30-minute main, or either if I'm going to bash, you know, a long extended bash session. Look, see how my bell is not spinning free? That shows you that it's time to change your clutch bell bearings. So I got a new fresh pair right here, bearings. So just something easy, simple you can do, prevent flame outs. I just want to show y'all how important keeping up and changing these bearings are. Y'all saw how it spent. Well, watch when I put these new ones on. Look at this. Night and day. That's very important. Change your bearings, especially if you know you got a lot of run time on your bearings. Change. And if they're brand new, they might have a lot of grease in them still. So just wipe them down, just wipe them off, and just put them on. If they don't spin this free, it's okay. But if you know they're new, then you still in a very good shape than how it was before I changed, than it was before you changed them out to these new bearings. So yeah, that's important tip. Again, number three, far as your engines. Before you do change your bearings, look over your clutches. These clutches got 2 aluminum, 2 composite. The composite are worn down a little more, so I probably would I would run these through like practice qualifying, but I definitely would change these, at least my composite shoes, plastic composite shoes, before a long lane, because they got some noticeable wear on the shoes. So I would change those. Then, put your new bearings on. Also, definitely new air filter, especially if you're out there with on a track that's very dusty, or you bashing in a spot that's very dusty. New air filter is essential. Even in qualifying, if you're doing a practice session before you start your qualifiers, new air filter. It's gonna save your engine, save you trouble, save flame outs, save you chasing your tune all day. New air filter. And if you could, put some grease in your toolbox. Put some grease in your toolbox, keep it in there. So if it's really dusty, you can put the grease on your filter on the outside where it screws in like this. Put it on the outside, grease it up here on the foam, grease it up here on the foam on the back. So what that's gonna do again is produce a seal. So if it's real dusty, fine dust, that seal will keep that fine dust from getting like back behind the housing of your air filter. So yeah, if you do that, if you know you got a lot of run time, I would on your glow plug, go with a fresh glow plug if you can. Go with a fresh glow plug if you can. I got some of these right here. Go with a fresh plug. You do those things with the engine. Just make sure you got your return spring here on everything. Make sure your return springs or your rubber bands. I got rubber bands on mine. Make sure those are good. If you do those things, your engine should be straight. And just as far as the car itself, just little minor stuff. Make sure all your shock screws, your shocks, nuts and screws are on good. Make sure, again, like I just done a video telling everybody, telling you to always go over your nuts on your suspension, front and rear. Like you got some plates like this, or screw on suspension nuts like these. Check these nuts, check your nuts. Make sure all these are tight so they won't come off during a race. Also, inside our hubs, we got inside the hubs themselves, they got the set screw that holds your pins, that holds the pin right here in your hub. Make sure those are tight. Make sure those are tight. Go over that, front and rear. Again, hit the suspension nuts here. Front and rear, make sure those are tight. Make sure the pins in your front hubs are tight. Make sure the nuts on your hinge pins here. Make sure those, go over those, make sure those are tight. One major thing that you should check all the time before you bash, or either before you start your main, your engine mounts. Engine mounts. I don't know how many times I've been racing even out there marshalling, and you hear your car like clicking, clicking, like blowing your bearing. Most of the time, a lot of times, just if the track is dry, rough, and the track is hard, a lot of times that will make your engine move ever so slightly. So check your engine mounts, even the engine mounts that your engine mount to the mount. Check those, make sure your engine bolts Make sure your engine bolts are tight on top where the engine screws into the mount, and also go over your engine mounts on the bottom of the chassis. Make sure these are tight. Make sure those are tight. Make sure those are tight. And like I said, if you do those little simple things, it's not nothing major. Something that don't take long to do. And do those simple things. Like I'm gonna get ready to clean my buggy up. If you have time, if you really want to just fine tune everything, you may want to, go over your shock oils or whatever, your diff oils if you want to change them out. But if it's been running good, consistent, the shock oils you've been running on, you can keep them in there. But if you're going in the main in a big race and you just want to be extra, extra secure in your setup, and you may want to, swap out your diff oils. But if you do those things, and then before this time of year is critical, and then before you start your main, go over your engine tune. This time of year when it's warm during the day and cool at night, a lot of the mains or your bass sessions going to be probably during the end of the day or either at night. The temperature is going to change during this from summer to fall. So the temperature is going to change. So go over your engine. Check that tune again before you hit the track. Check your tune on your engine. And all this, give yourself time to do this. Don't rush this. It's critical. That's the main number one rule. Remember this. Do not rush your maintenance. Do not rush your maintenance going into your mains. Do not rush your maintenance before you go to a race or even before you bash. Don't rush. Give yourself time to make sure everything is right. And if you do that, you should have no problems. Your stuff should last. You should have very, very, very less few chances for your engine flaming out. You could look over the gaskets on your engine just to make sure everything is sealed up good. I would check that too. But if it's been running good, everything been sealed, you haven't had any leaks or anything that could be on your chassis that would show like you got a gasket leak from the engine, then you probably pretty much is good with that. But yeah, but if you do those things, you should have no problem of lasting through your main, lasting through your bass session. Then again, this, like I said, man, if you do those, you're good to go. Another tip before I leave out, always check your servo horn screw. Check that too. Check that. That's critical to check those. Your throttle and your steering horn. Check those too. And like I said, if you do those things, check all this, your suspension screws, make sure those are tight. And you do this, you should have no problem making it through your 30-minute main or your long bass session. Less problems. Anything else I can think of? Maybe just go over your tires and stuff. Make sure they're glued securely. Make sure you ain't got nothing coming loose. And then if you got something coming loose with your tires, just glue it. Clean them real good first. Clean them first and then go back and just glue the spots that's maybe loose or kind of loose, just to ensure that you have no trouble in the main. So if you do those things, hope this helps somebody do these things. You ought to be good. You ought to be good to go. Like I said, this TTR Team Tip Tuesday, EKJ 24000 here. Just give me something to think about, and hopefully this helps somebody. Just to put you in the idea of things you need to do just to get ready to make it through your long bash session, or either make it through your 30-minute, 45-minute main. And should you do those things, you should be good to go. EKJ 24000. If you ain't ripping and tripping, that toss a loop. 3 people the way you want to be treated. We out, baby. Yo.